up top into the end zone.
Ward looking left. Plenty of time. Running near the 10-yard line. Ward's going to take off. Diving! Touchdown!
Come on, dinner's ready.
Okay, coming.
The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash, with a silver hat about his head, and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
Inside Allegiant Stadium for the first time this year. Max Crosby. Touchdown Raiders! Some traffic is picked off by Robert Spillane. Jack Jones! Yeah, let's go, Jack Jones! The back, and he's caught there for the touchdown! And drilled from behind. Ball's out. Big man running.
This is a great opportunity for us to come home in front of our family, fans, Raider Nation, the Black Hole.
Raiders! Goddamn right.
Welcome to the Just Raiders Baby podcast with your host, Jay Raider.
What is up, Raider Nation? Welcome to another episode of Just Raiders Baby podcast. I'm your host, I'm Jay Raider, and on the show today we are talking Raiders versus Chiefs. Black Friday game in Kansas City, a nail biter. We're talking how the refs blew the call at the end. We're talking what went wrong in the game. We're also talking what went right in the game. We're talking the draft. It never fails with the draft. New update, we are up in the order. And we're talking AOC's future. And we're looking ahead to Bucks versus Raiders. But before we go ahead and get into the show, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button down below. We are currently at 40 subscribers. Let's go ahead and get that up to 50. Make sure you guys hit that like button. And I'm also doing 2 live shows per week. I'm doing the Raider Connection on Wednesday nights with co-hosts Cheetah Linus, Jeff New England Boosters, and LB Raider 10. And I also do a post-game reaction show right after every game. So make sure you guys are tuning into that. Turn on your notifications. I also drop shorts a week. They're fucking hilarious. Make sure you guys go check those out as well. I drop at least 2 to 3 per week, so make sure you guys are tuned in for that. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Raiders versus Chiefs, Black Friday game. It was crazy. It did start off slow. Chiefs go ahead and hit a field goal to start things off in the first quarter. It's 3-0, but Raiders come back. Carlson with the kick and ties things up at 3 apiece. Chiefs, as you know, the Chiefs can never count those guys out. They go ahead and hit a touchdown and take the lead at 10-3, and that's how we went into the half. All right, so Raiders get the ball second half. They start off a little cold, can't find the rhythm. Chiefs take over, and they go ahead and hit a field goal, and it's 13-3 Chiefs. But O'Connell eventually finds his rhythm and finds Brock Bowers for the touchdown, and it's 13-10 Chiefs. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Stepping up, going deep, has a man, caught, into the end zone, touchdown, Brock Bowers.
What an awesome play. But the Chiefs go ahead and come back and march down the field to go ahead and hit a field goal to go ahead and increase their lead to 16-10 Chiefs. Let's move into the fourth quarter. Aidan O'Connell hits a deep shot to Trey Tucker for a touchdown, and Raiders take the lead. It's 17-16 Raiders.
Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit, Kaylee Hartung start the fourth. O'Connell deep down the sideline, getting free, and into the end zone, Trey Tucker.
But as always, you can never count out the Chiefs. Chiefs come back and they hit a field goal and they retake the lead. It's 19-17. Let's move into the last 2 minutes of the game. And this is the part where it is a nail biter. They're starting off deep in their zone and they march down the field. They get to the 32-yard line with 15 seconds left on the clock. Aidan O'Connell spikes it, and it's 3rd and 3 from the 32. The Raiders looking like they're going to take one more shot at it, and then this happens.
Work his mind to stay sharp in this game and flawlessly moves this offense into field goal range.
It would be a 50-yard field goal from here. Drops it. Flag is thrown, though. Flag will stop it.
As you see, it was a terrible play. Miscommunication between JPJ and Aidan O'Connell. Ball got snapped early. Aidan O'Connell wasn't ready for it, couldn't recover the ball. Chiefs recover, though play was blown dead, and the false start indication was given. Refs eventually overturned the call to an illegal shift, which gave the opportunity to the Chiefs to go ahead and accept or decline it, which they declined it because they recovered the ball, and that was the game. Screwed by the refs, as usual, in Arrowhead.
And this is some bullshit.
Final score, 19-17 Chiefs, and it is the 8th straight loss for the Las Vegas Raiders in a tough game, competitive game versus the Chiefs. And that takes me to my next segue. Refs blow the call and screw Raiders at the end. So it's 33 at the 32-yard line, 15 seconds left. Raiders looking to take one more shot down the field. Mind you, Carlson Hardy had missed 3 field goals in the game from 50-plus yards. At that point, Raiders wanted to go ahead and take one more shot to get closer or to potentially hit the touchdown if it was available. Ball was snapped early. Again, a miscommunication between JPJ and Aidan O'Connell. When the ball was snapped, Aidan O'Connell wasn't ready. The ball was technically a live ball. Raiders couldn't recover. Chiefs recovered, but the play was blown dead. Official came in with the false start indication, as I did earlier. At that point, when it is a false start by league rules, that play is blown dead. But refs reconvene and they do what they do best, find a way to screw the Raiders. They go ahead and overturn that call to an illegal shift, which gave the opportunity for the Chiefs to either accept or decline the call, which they declined because they recovered the ball, and Raiders ultimately lose that game. So let's go ahead and take a look at that last play. And if you see clearly, the ref signals the false start. Once the signal for false start is indicated, that play is blown dead. By rule, the team should be penalized and redo the down. Now, here's the thing, that sideline judge couldn't make that call, but the whistle was blown. In any event, that's a dead ball. That play had to be redone. Hence, Raiders keep the ball, had the chance to go ahead and kick it, but that was not the case. Refs intervened and overruled that sideline judge, which gave the opportunity for the Chiefs to go ahead and accept or decline, which they obviously declined because they recovered the ball, and Raiders end up losing. And this is another case where the refs come in and screw the Raiders and change outcomes of games.
You're not gonna call that?
I saw a clean tackle, sir.
What are you looking at? Are you serious?
Tell it to the parole board, criminal.
As you know, there is no love lost between the NFL refs and the Raiders and the NFL against the Raiders. They will try to find every opportunity to go ahead and screw the Raiders, and this was no different.
I hate you!
Now, you can see two sides of this. Raiders don't take that risk and try to take another shot down the field. If the refs would have stuck with the original call false start, the Raiders would have had another opportunity to possibly make a field goal for 50-plus yards and win again in Kansas City. But unfortunately, that was not the case, and Raiders get screwed once again in Arrowhead. So let's move into the next segment, What Went Wrong.
Oh no! We suck again!
Talking about the last minute and a half of the game. Once we get down to the 32-yard line, Ian O'Connell spikes the ball, stopping the clock. There was uncertainty of what the play should have been called. Once they got in the huddle, they decided what players should be run. Everybody was quickly to go ahead and get up on the line. People were still trying to get set. Ian O'Connell was seen clapping his hands and trying to get everybody lined up quickly. And there was still a good amount of time left on the play clock. But once Ian O'Connell claps his hands, that is an indication to JPJ, the center, to go ahead and start his snap count. Also, his guard tapped him on the hip to go ahead and let him know to start that snap count. Once that ball was snapped, you guys know what happens next. But just having that uncertainty and not being on the same page really cost the Raiders that game. Obviously, the refs had their hand in it, and that call should have been called a false start. But from the get-go, we want to be able to go ahead and execute that play on point, so that way those mistakes don't happen. And the next point of what went wrong, AP said in his presser that they were looking to go ahead and kill the clock. But at 15 seconds, if you hit that field goal, Chiefs have about roughly 10 seconds, maybe less, maybe about 8 seconds for them to go ahead and either hit a kickoff return touchdown or march down the field into field goal range which would have been pretty difficult at that point, especially if you're having them start deep in their end zone. But I can definitely see why you want to take another shot to get closer to go ahead and make a field goal, especially with Daniel Carlson missing 3 field goals in that game already. And going into that, Daniel Carlson missed 3 field goals in that game, which is very rare for him. But in fact, it did happen. Also, the Chiefs kicker did miss one as well from 45, 50 yards as well. So there was some wind during the game that did play a factor. But for him not being able to hit 50 yards plus, it did go ahead and change some of the play calling. And at the end, for the Raiders to go ahead and take that risk to try to take one more shot to go ahead and get closer into field goal range. And then obviously, Aidan O'Connell and JPJ, the rest of the O-line, not being on the same page, which ultimately led to that early snap, which cost the Raiders a game. But let's go ahead and talk about also what went right for the Raiders. So the offense did look more fluid in the second half. Looks like Aidan O'Connell did find his rhythm in that second half, which, as you saw, we did score 2 touchdowns in the second half, which we didn't get to do last year in that Christmas game. Also, the run game did open up. Sincere McCormick having over 60 yards in rushing, which led the Raiders to go ahead and break over 100 yards in rushing, something that the Raiders haven't done since the beginning of the season, which did allow for the play action and also the air game to go ahead and open up as well. Defensively, Raiders had 5 sacks on Patrick Mahomes, something that hasn't been done by any team this season. Raiders had 5 sacks on him. Max Crosby, Chase Hunt, and others came in, sacked Mahomes, or rushed him to go ahead and disrupt his rhythm, and it showed out there. Also, defense held the Chiefs to under 20 points, something that a lot of teams haven't been able to do this season. Raiders did it. Unfortunately, we fell short at the end of the game, but Raiders fought hard all 4 quarters and did not give up, and we almost pulled out the win at the end. But there's a silver lining to this loss. Raiders do go up number 2 in the draft.
Yes! Hell yeah! Hey, come on, baby! Come on! Yes! Come on! Ah! Yes! Yes!
And that leads me to my next segue, the draft. All right. So Raiders are now number 2 in the draft, right behind the Jacksonville Jaguars, which have the top spot and the current overall number 1 pick. But we are in an excellent position currently, so long as we continue this losing streak, we will be in pretty good shape. Now, there's been talk from some Raider fans out there that we shouldn't go for an elite quarterback since we are in the top 5 and the number 2 position now, that we should go ahead and either wait to draft a quarterback in the later rounds or maybe wait for next year for Archie Manning to become available.
Stop it. Get some help.
Now, this is the thing. The Raiders need an elite young quarterback now. Now, the Raiders are in a very unique position. If they were to end up in number 3, or if they stay at number 2, or if they end up in the number 1 overall pick position, the Raiders need to capitalize on that opportunity. We don't know when that opportunity will come where they'll be able to go ahead and get into the top 3 without giving up their whole future to be able to trade up into that position. It's super important that we don't miss out on that opportunity. Now, we can't count on trying to draft a quarterback in the 2nd or 3rd round and expect that quarterback to be an elite quarterback that will go ahead and take us into the playoffs or on a Super Bowl type run in the next coming years. We need to be able to go ahead and get the best available quarterback that there is now, which is Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward. There are other quarterbacks that have named as well, like Jackson Dart and Curtis Rourke, but those quarterbacks will most likely go in the first round. There might not be a lot of other quarterbacks that go into the second or even third. Now, we can't expect to go ahead and try to draft a quarterback in the second or third or later rounds and expect that quarterback to be an elite quarterback or a Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward type caliber player. As you wait in the later rounds, the quality of quarterback diminishes. Also, the next quarterback draft class might not be good as this one. As you see in this upcoming draft, this quarterback class is not as good as last year's. Last year's quarterback class, we had so many quarterbacks going in the first round. And in this draft class, we see probably like 3 or 4 going in the first round. And these are the high marquee players that you're seeing going into either the college football playoffs or they have enough statistics. Everybody else will be of a lesser caliber type quarterback. So taking that opportunity and making sure we draft our quarterback now instead of later is key here. Also, mind you, if we try to trade up to try to get into the top 5, we might not be able to get there. As you saw in last year, we tried to get into the top 5 and we offered the Commanders 3 first-round picks and a couple of second-round picks. Commanders denied that. And they ended up picking Jaden Daniels. The Bears ended up getting Caleb Williams. And we all know what happened after that. So making sure that we take that opportunity that we have. And if we are in number 2, number 3, or we have the number 1 overall pick, we need to go ahead and go out and get our quarterback. Another thing, the time is now to invest in our future.
What are you waiting for? Do it! Just do it! Yes, you can! Just do it!
AOC is not getting any younger. AOC is not the future. He's a good backup quarterback or bridge quarterback. Either he can't get us into the playoffs or he can't make it deep run into the playoffs. But either way, we do need an elite quarterback. Just because Aidan O'Connell had 1 or 2 good games doesn't mean that he is our quarterback of the future. As you've seen from his past performances, his progression has been snail-like. For us to be able to go ahead and actually make a playoff run, it would take a long time or may not even ever happen with Aidan O'Connell starting. And I know a lot of AOC fans might not like to hear that, but here's another thing for you. We can always keep Aidan O'Connell and have him be our bridge. So that means we go out, we draft our quarterback, and we have that quarterback sit behind for either a season, 2 seasons, or even half a season. But that quarterback can go ahead and learn from Aidan O'Connell, which he's been with the Raiders for the last 2 seasons. So that in itself is pretty valuable for someone to go ahead and come in and be able to teach a rookie quarterback, having himself just been a rookie, teach him our system and the way we do things and our timing. That's going to be very valuable for that quarterback that's coming in. But before we go into our next segment, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button down below. If you're loving what you guys are seeing, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications. Again, I come out with a show every week. We're doing live shows twice a week. So make sure you guys are tapping into that. All right. So that takes me into my next segment, AOC's future. Now, I don't see AOC being a long-term solution for the Raiders. AOC is not the elite quarterback for the Raiders. As you've seen, Aiden O'Connell has more mediocre performances than he's had good ones. Also, we can't wait 2 to 3 years for him to develop, but he is a good backup quarterback and he is a good bridge quarterback. And that's something that we can utilize for a future rookie quarterback that we draft in this next coming draft. And like I said, if we keep Aiden O'Connell, that's somebody that we can go ahead and sit behind while they learn our system and learn how to go ahead and be a quarterback in the NFL. All right, but that's enough about Aiden O'Connell and the draft class. Let's go ahead and talk about this week's game. Bucks versus Raiders, Sunday in Tampa Bay. Here are the keys to victory.
Smells like victory.
All right, here's the keys to victory. Raiders preferably starting off fast, hitting 10 plus points in the first half. Definitely got to open up the run game. This is where Sincere McCormick gets his reps and breaks through and tries to get the Raiders another 100 plus yards in rushing. Consistency, making sure that we're scoring consistently throughout the game. We should have a score, preferably in every quarter. Also, offense needs to stay fluid. Aiden O'Connell needs to go ahead and get in rhythm so he can go ahead and find his targets. But the biggest thing here is that we have to go ahead and score over 20 points in this game to even have a shot of possibly winning. Defensively, we have to apply pressure to Baker Mayfield. Like we did with Patrick Mahomes, we got to do the same thing to Baker Mayfield. We need to go ahead and find an opportunity to create turnovers. We need to try to at least get one turnover in this game. I know we came close last game, but we definitely need to go ahead and try to pull one out this game. But most importantly, hold the Bucks to under 20 points. If we're able to do that, we have a possibility of pulling one out. As you saw with the Chiefs, we held them to under 20 and we almost stole that game. But obviously, we always have a hard time trying to score points, and especially try to score over 20 points. So that's going to be a tall order, but I definitely see the Raiders having a shot of holding the Bucks to under 20 points. But those are my keys to victory, and we'll definitely see what happens on Sunday versus the Bucks. But that'll be it for this show. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me on this episode of Just Raiders Baby Podcast. Again, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button down below. Keep supporting the podcast. Let's keep growing it. Let's try to go ahead and hit 50, then 100. Like I said, once we get to 500, we can go ahead and start doing those giveaways. So I'm very excited about that. As usual, make sure you guys catch me on my socials on Instagram, X, Threads, and now TikTok. It's JRaider_505. That's JRaider_505. And as usual on YouTube, Just Raiders Baby Podcast. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. But I am on every damn Wednesday for the Raider Connection. That is Tito Linus, Jeff New England Boosters, LV Raider 10, and myself. We're breaking down every week's game. So make sure you guys tap into that. But make sure you guys join me on my post-game reaction show after every game. Make sure you guys do jump on that chat. That chat is hot, and chat lives do matter, and it's a lot of fun. So make sure you guys are tapping into that. Also, if you guys are wondering how to go ahead and start your own podcast, make sure you guys go ahead and try out Riverside.fm. Riverside.fm is what I use to go ahead and make this podcast happen. I've been using it for a few months now, and I'm able to go ahead and put out podcasts in 4K, just like you saw here. Really good quality. Make sure you guys go on my link, try it out, put out a show or two, And if you like it, then go ahead and commit to it. But this is one of the best products that is out there next to the other one called StreamYard, which is cool too, but this one is better because you can go ahead and do a lot of edits and also do live shows as well. So make sure you guys check out riverside.fm. Hit that link in my bio. You won't go wrong. But that is it for the show. Again, thank you guys for joining me. I will see you guys next time. And always remember, just Raiders, baby.